And so as a result, that's like the number one thing you look for as a product builder is like, are people coming back and using it nonstop?
Yeah.
But as we like, as we started following the users, talking to the users, became really clear to us that what people wanted is the ability to actually build full stack applications. And so we've kind of been on this journey of, following what our like core power users are saying and adding more capabilities to like the core underlying platform.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are here for another episode, and we are going to be focused on how our tools are shaping us. And I've got one of the co-founders of a tool called Create, and that's Create.xyz, Dhruv Amin, here with us today. Dhruv, how's it going?
It's going well, George. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for your time. And I know we got, some brief time together. But just a little background. Dhruv and I connected initially because I was testing out Crate in the early days. And I still believe that Crate is on the right trajectory, the right path when it comes to what I'm seeing in the AI space currently. And so I thought I'd bring Dhruv on so he can talk more about Crate, talk more about himself, and we can just chit chat about everything related to the process at the moment. So Dhruv, please give a little intro of yourself, and then we can segue into Create.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks, George, for being one of our early users. It's been awesome seeing all the things you're building with Create and how you've been pushing us to make it even better. So excited to come chat about the experience. Quick background on myself. I started my career in product at Google. I was an early PM for YouTube TV. I then went and got my master's in AI from Stanford. And actually started out after that trying to launch a few internet businesses. And I think it was there that I got struck by just how hard it is for most people to build software.
Yeah.
And we got started with Create. And the original version of Create, this is pre-AI and everything else. We were basically figuring out a way to generate all the code for projects. And
Mm,
about a year ago, we decided that the fastest way to do it would be to actually just make a tool for builders. And really the mission of the tool is to make it possible for everyone, is even non-tech focused people to actually build their own software businesses. And so that's a little bit of the journey we've been on.
oh, yeah, no, and it's been great to see because I think you guys, from what I remember, your original users, were they from Japan, or because like you guys have a really big sort of Japanese segment? Is that correct?
We've actually blown up all around the world, but yeah,
Cool.
Japan, the Japan market in particular has been super AI forward and excited about the product. We're now starting to see just much, much more like US users as well.
Yeah.
Um, and Saudi Arabia and India, and it's really all over the world. I think what's really cool
Mhm.
about this whole like text to app platform or like the ability to basically go from English as the new programming language
Yeah.
is that LLMs and AI can understand all languages. And so a lot of what we do just default localizes on day one in a way that I think builder tools in the past didn't. And so it's been really fun to see international usage really spike with that.
Yeah. And actually, I think what would be really great is if we could even have you like screen share and take us through Create, and we could just talk more about stuff as we're going through your product. Because like the best way is to, show, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
are you up for it?
Yeah,
Perfect.
definitely. Let me go ahead and pull up Create
Yeah.
and all quick tips.
Yeah. And when you guys launched, what did that look like? Did you, because I know obviously you have users around the world, but did you start off in Japan or start off anywhere in particular?
No, so when we launched, Create is actually was like super simple when we first launched.
Mm.
So we actually had a agency and marketplace we were running to actually generate the code and then complete projects with human developers. And it was
Mm.
funny, we actually started the product as I think we were building like a lead gen experience, and it was just a way to show people the code generation we could do, where
Mm.
you could just enter a quick description and we would generate like the front end prototype of what you needed.
Yeah.
We launched that on Product Hunt and people just like
Mm.
loved it. And we saw them coming
Mm.
back. And And so as a result, that's like the number one thing you look for as a product builder is like, are people coming back and using it nonstop?
Yeah.
But as we like, as we started following users, talking to users, became really clear to us that what people wanted is the ability to actually build full stack applications. And so we've kind of been on this journey of, following what our like core power users are saying and adding more capabilities to like the core underlying platform. And so we probably due for another Pride Hunt launch at this point.
Yeah.
A little out of date in terms of how you can actually use it.
Yeah.
But now modern day Create, you can actually build entire full stack end-to-end applications. And so
Mm.
I can go ahead and show you that real quick in the builder. But if you just take a quick look at my screen, I don't know, George, what's something we could maybe build? I know you're making a lot of content, so
Yeah.
make a quick script generator, right? So you can say something like, imagine you're making TikTok videos as an entrepreneur and you want to make a new TikTok script generator.
Yeah.
In Create, you can just say that. So make me a new TikTok script generator. Um, And in Create, we actually have a bunch of built-in integrations with just slash commands. We're trying to make it extremely easy to go ahead and hook things up. And so I can power my script generator with ChatGPT. I'm actually going to go ahead and use Sonnet as like the core model. And as I go ahead and generate, Create will actually go ahead and generate all of the code for this, as well as auto fix it and start to show me the live UI.
Yeah.
And I can put it into demo mode and preview it right here. The really powerful thing is like this is all live code. So in 1 second, I can go ahead and publish it and get it onto the web and deploy it. And I can go ahead and test it. So what's our video about? AI tools. I'm gonna try and see if it's funny, and go ahead and have it generate, and Create will handle all of the AI streaming for what I want. So pretty fast to go from just idea to simple app.
Mm.
I can, of course, start to iterate with it. So one of my favorite small features that we're trying to build in is making things look certain ways. So let me see real quick, anthropic.com. I love the way their style kind of looks.
Yeah.
So I can very quickly tell Create to go ahead and make it look like anthropic.com.
Mm. So you
And
don't
Create
even
will
need
go,
to screenshot it, huh?
yeah, Create will figure out a screenshot and it'll actually update. In demo mode, we don't show this, but you'll now see that it's going to start to make my script generator look a little bit easier. And it'll start to like generate and like style it this way. I can also start to create, other parts of the experience. And so imagine I was trying to sell this online. I can now say, make me a landing page for my script generator. It should have testimonials, benefits. Uh, let's make the testimonials look like tweet cards, maybe a banner.
Mm.
Um, and Create will actually use all of the context on the canvas to go ahead and update and create multiple pages of your app. And so it'll know to kind of make it look like Anthropic and to match my styles. And so very quickly, you can start to build pretty full functioning apps on Create.
Mm.
Everything from how the app works to the actual marketing for the app to the internal tools you need to build it. Um, and then it's not just front ends. I think the final thing I'll kind of show in the quick demo, and then we can just chat.
Yeah.
Um, is you can really start to power this with all sorts of things. And so, in addition to like our built-in integrations, you can create what we call functions, which let you connect to other APIs. And so I could say, when the user uh, uh, generates a script, send them an email with Zapier, right? And this will go ahead and ask me for my Zapier webhook URL. And if I had like Zapier, I could go ahead and hook these things all up.
Mm.
And then I can go ahead and use my backend functions in my like code with slash commands. So I can say, send the user an email with Zapier, right? And use my functions that I've actually gone ahead and hooked up. Um, You can also, with our simple slash command, start to do things like store things in a database. So I can just tell create, like store all the scripts in a database. And with the simple slash command, I can go ahead and create a new database. Uh, and create will do all the work of figuring out the schema and how to store it and the rest of it. So really just trying to make it like a lot easier and almost like simple building blocks to very quickly be able to build powerful applications.
Have you noticed anyone build, yeah, like more complex apps with, say, more than 20 pages in Create yet?
Oh, 100%.
Mm.
I mean, I can tell you about a few that are like super interesting. We had
Yeah.
one user, he's actually building for the safety industry. He's got a
Okay.
project called HTC Bot, and
Mm.
he's literally building like an entire SaaS application in Create.
Mm.
Everything from like AI tools to help safety professionals generate documents and sell them. He's selling it for $20 a month and is actually able to build the entire Stripe integration as well as all of his marketing pages to start to rank in SEO. And so, really, our power users are starting to go pretty deep. Another one that I just talked to the other day, user Alex, was basically building an entire calorie tracker similar to Cal AI,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
blown up. But he has his own unique take on it, selling it into gym owners. And so, I think what's really powerful about this era is that almost anyone with a fantastic software idea
Mm.
is going to be able to build it, launch it to their community. And I actually think like the need for software is still just so untapped.
Yeah.
There's so many people who have, who've had ideas. I think you are actually one of them as well, and have a
Mm.
community
Yeah.
and can see how they could actually launch products into that community, make that community better. And so
Yeah.
I'm just stoked that we're actually democratizing this for more people.
Yeah, 100%. And what have you noticed? Have you noticed any behavior shifts? One with yourself, two with your team, and then three with the actual customers.
Yeah, what types of behavior shifts? I mean, I see like the first I'd say is like it's getting so easy to make little tools and create or
Yeah.
simple things for myself, whether it's internal tools to help create grow,
Mm.
or just personal tools that I often actually build it and create before I even Google for it. And so it's just getting that fast to
Mhm.
like make software, which is that by the time I'm gonna like and this is funny coming from an old Google PM, which is like by the time I'm gonna go search for something and try and dig through the results and find it, I often find I can make it or create it just like way quicker. And so that's kind of cool myself. For my team, um, yeah, I think it's a similar thing. We're starting to build all of our own internal tools in our marketing in Create. And what's really powerful about it is that as you start building like the first thing in Create and Create learns more about you, we're starting to see that like the marginal cost of building the next thing in Create or the next like, the next landing page or the next piece of it just drops in a way that I don't think really existed in the old no code, low code builder era. You'd build one thing, but then it's that one project,
Yep.
and the AI doesn't know that much about you. And so I think that's pretty interesting. And then on the customer side, I think the biggest trend we're seeing is just like people who truly had never built software before. So they've tried tools like Bubble, Retool, like I don't know, just tools that are slightly more complex. They maybe push, and at some point they get stuck. And I think what's really powerful is just the speed of creation. And I think as you make things more convenient, you see new people kind of enter the market. And so I think you're an example of this as well, George. Like I think
Mm.
we were just stoked to see you're telling me about a little bit of your background and things you created and I'm not sure you've ever been a software builder before,
Mm.
uh, but now you are.
Yeah, no, exactly. So my last startup, I had a technical co-founder. So I've been involved in building product, but a lot of the things that I needed my technical co-founder for in the last startup, I don't need now for the early stages, especially. Interestingly, I am seeing though the benefits of like senior devs, engineers, etc. That's still needed because they essentially understand because they know what's going on. They can write better prompts. They know what to look for, and there is saving in terms of token consumption. That's what I've learned at least in terms of how these AI systems are also working. Right, you can actually
Yep.
save through experience, right? Because you just know what can be edited manually versus somebody. I've already noticed this, but somebody who doesn't know the code, right? They're going to continue to try and get use more prompts, right, to get the same output. Whereas somebody who's experienced will know, oh, I'll just edit this thing and we're done there. So I think, yeah, it is really interesting to see what's happening now. And I was trying to look for it. There was a tweet I saw like earlier today where this guy was talking about this Death Valley for people who are getting into this arena. So let me just share my screen.
Yeah, for sure.
um, yeah. So is AI making software dev skills obsolete or more valuable than ever? Right. And he had that.
This chart is the reason that AI is not making developers obsolete anytime soon.
Yeah. So, right, he's saying that like, yeah, all the newbies will get to this point, but then essentially when they're going to generate, right? So this I think is from Bolt. They get these type of errors. They keep trying to fix it, but because they don't know what's going on, it just goes in a death loop, right? And yeah, he makes a good case that this is why developers are still needed for now, for these type of scenarios. And yeah, have you experienced this yourself, even with your team?
Yeah, I mean, like 100%. I think, so first of all, it's not all of us tool builders to make the tools even better, and make sure that we keep pushing out where this death valley is. But, a huge part of how we're solving this in Create is we're making collab, like a default experience. You can actually go edit the code if you want. You can invite your developer focused friend. And then we're also trying to build up more of our community. We're already starting to see, I think just the other day, somebody um, made 5K for a consulting project on top of Create. So they built
Nice.
something, they got a little bit of freelance experience, and then they're actually selling their services and to push it that last mile. And we're working on ways to build that into Create so that, once you get started. But I think the bigger thing here is just that people can even participate. People can even join the conversation, right? Even if you can get up to that Death Valley and push it all the way, you're just so much farther along than you otherwise like would have been.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. We see this all the time, especially from non-technical founders who are like, I just have a better way to communicate with my CTO. I've got a better way to communicate with my designer. Um, and so it's speeding up that iteration loop.
Yeah.
And then I think you'll be surprised over the next year, the tools are about to get really, really good. I think we've had this magic moment where things have started to cross over, but it's only going to get better from here.
I agree. It's getting insane, like what's coming out. And I'm sharing this tweet because, this is a guy, Riley Brown, right, who was a classic example of, I don't know if he was doing YouTube videos already, but he considers himself a no-coder, right, or like somebody who didn't code before. And then he got to a point where he realized, coding is the new no code, because in the process of building, he's wanted to learn how to code, right?
Yeah,
And I think this is how it made me think about education in general, right? Our education systems. Like we often start with, okay, you just need to learn like these things because we say so, right? As opposed to when you have a problem, you want to go and learn everything in order to achieve, the solution to that problem. And
$100%.
that's what I've seen, and I think the community side, very important. So I'm glad you brought that up, right? Why do you think the community aspect is really important for a platform like Create? Especially now since, commoditization of software building through AI.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think so first of all, just on the no code part, I think we're entering the era of like yes code, where what
Mm,
AI is really good at is generating code. And so
mm,
I think you're going to see all the tools kind of natively like have code writing as like a key capability.
yeah.
And then there's a lot to build around it to make that code manageable and understandable and buildable. But I think
Yeah.
it's just really exciting because I think as someone who's been a dev, like that's been my number one form of leverage is the ability to write code. And if that's opening up, it just means more people can have more leverage. To your point on community, I mean, I just still think that humans are going to be in the driver's seat of the creative process for as long as, as long as I can foretell. And even if we have a really powerful AI that can actually generate a lot of these things,
Mm,
I still think it's going to be in service of somebody that wants to go like make something.
yeah.
And so the community just really helps that. And it's lonely trying to be a like software entrepreneur trying to put something out in the world. And so the more that we can help people help each other and build things, like the stronger, the more likely people are going to go get to success. It also gives people, I think what's really exciting right now is like as the community is forming, it's giving people a new vector or a new early test market to launch things into. Like you can launch things into the other create builders. And so we're trying to do more work to connect that and the activity happening on the platform. But it's just really exciting that, it's starting to form.
Yeah, 100%. You reminded me actually of have you seen this series yet? Terminator Zero?
I haven't. No, what is it?
Super fascinating, very timely, right? Because we all know the Terminator series, right? But this is an anime version, and it really highlights the differences in views on AI between the West and the East, right? I think the first movie that I saw, which highlighted it really well, was the movie The Creator. I don't know if you saw that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, right.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. So if you haven't, highly recommend it because in the West, we all have the Terminator view of AI that like it's going to be the death of us, right? In the East, a lot of the content they produce is always about humans and machines working together. So in Terminator Zero, essentially an AI is launched to combat Skynet. And this AI was given the whole context of humanity, not just from like a logical deduction, right? Looking at everything we've done and realize you guys are essentially a barbaric race, right? There are all these nuances that come with a lot of Eastern cultures, right? And essentially, this AI, through seeing some of the interactions between like father and child and those sort of things, took on a more, I think, feminine, over like motherly look at our planet. And yeah, essentially looked at us as okay, there is a way that we can coexist, right? And I think I am of that opinion that that's how we should look at things, because otherwise we have the Western Hollywood Terminator, they're going to destroy us, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And next minute we're looking at LA bombed by some nuclear thing launched by an AI. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this, right? This
Yeah, I think you're hitting on a really powerful point, which is that I think the media you consume does shape the way you think about new technologies. And, there's downsides to every technology. There's also upsides to every technology. Funny enough, for many years, I've actually told people this is why I sometimes refuse to watch Black Mirror. Um,
yeah,
Not
yeah,
because I don't find it entertaining, but just because I find it like, man, lots of these episodes they invented this new thing and it's very focused on the downsides of the new thing
yep,
as opposed to what are the upsides. And I don't think we put nearly enough emphasis on what are the upsides, what's now possible.
yes,
And it does inform, what you actually even think to build.
yes,
And so I definitely hear that. I definitely have seen some of the cultural differences, even in like our like user base of builders.
yeah.
How people think about it. But it's been super interesting but I don't know, I think opinions are changing. I think,
Hmm.
when AI first came out, there's a lot of this threat. I think people are starting to feel the real utility and the real like ways it's able to like help you do something you couldn't do before or do a lot faster. And so I think these things will hopefully change with time, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you got a hard stop now, right? So should we wrap this up or have you got a few more minutes?
I can do a few more minutes for sure.
Okay.
And jump probably to another meeting. But yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Again, appreciate your time, man. So I think a good maybe question or area to wrap up is right. How have the technologies you've used to date shaped your own outlook and interactions with AI tools now and what you're building? And what are your predictions for the future? Let's say next 5 years.
Wow.
Hmm.
Uh, I think it's just such a fun time to be a product builder.
Hmm.
I think everyone's just dropped this goodie bag of foundational model capabilities. And it feels like every week there's something new or a new Lego block you can play with. Whether I think today, O1, the official version got released. Um, and so it's this mad rush right now to say like, oh, how can we use these new models? How can we use this new technology? And it's just been really fun to see people launch new products. And so like, every day I see something new in the Twitter feed and something new someone else has made. And I don't know, just someone who like really loves products. I have a lot of fun playing with them, lots of inspiration across, oh, you could do something this way with the models and do something else. And so it's just a very rich like time. I think it's an awesome time to go be a builder. Like there's never really been this much leverage. If you have an idea, you can probably make it with either create or the traditional way of like, coding it up yourself. But I think it's like a fun time to enter the arena.
Hmm.
Um, And over the next 5 years, predictions, I just think this market is going to grow. It's like clear to me that we're just at the very start of this. And people are still just like waking up to the awareness that a lot of this stuff is even possible.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think it feels like sometimes we live in the future. I talk to other people who come into Create for the first time and they're like, I didn't even realize anything like this is possible. And for us, it's been like, oh, it's been a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And you remember like it's still just crossing over. And so I
Mm.
think it's just general awareness increases. I think you're gonna see that effect just amplified. And so that's what I find really fun and interesting to kind of live through.
Yeah, nice. And one final one, right? Like, who has been your design inspiration? Let's say, like, have there been any other tools, applications that have inspired the design for Create?
Good question. Um,
Because I've seen
I
some
think
for some with some
like
other tools, right? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think like everything is a little bit of like inspiration, right? Like every product you use that you really, really love and like ends up being a little bit of inspiration. Nothing is like a direct like replica. I think what we think about a lot is speed is just really important, like
Mm.
iteration speed and like feedback. And so we love products that make you feel fast. And we think a lot about like the design of products that make you feel fast. Um, I think like capability or like power or is an interesting one, but often comes with the flip side of like ease of use. And so I think we think a lot about like, what are the products that have done an amazing job of giving you a lot of power, but also making that really intuitive. And so,
Mm.
there's lots of things in Create that are inspired by things like that, from our slash commands to how we actually do AI code generation.
Mm.
But there are just different trade-offs in making an experience you think is going to resonate with like your audience and the rest of it. And I'm sure there's tons of inspiration from other products that we've just implicitly been pulling in as that product that we love and use all the time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, my man. Well, thank you so much for your time. It'd be good if we had more, but that is all right because I'm gonna check in with you in the future, and we'll get an update on Create then and see how things are. But yeah, thanks again for your time.
Thanks, George. I'm so glad you're doing this. It's so fun that you're actually interviewing more builders. Excited to see where it goes, and I'll be following along with the podcast.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.